All right, so suppose for a moment I've baked a cake. In fact, I've baked 3 cakes. And then 8 people turn up, and they all want some cake. How can I share my 3 cakes evenly among 8 people? This seems like a weird question. Let's ask a less weird question than this and come back to this one. So here's a less weird question. How can I share 24 cookies among 8 people? Right, so I've got 24 cookies. There they are, and I want to share them among 8 people. Right, how might I do it? Well, I might give 1 to each person, right? And then once everybody has 1, I'll give everyone another 1. And then I'll give everyone a third one. Okay. So I think what happens is person number 1 gets 3 cookies, person number 2 gets 3 cookies, and so on. What have we just done here? We've taken our 24 cookies and we've split them evenly into 8 groups. And we found that there are 3 in each group. You know what that was? That was division. 24 divided by 8 is 3. So I think that what we wanted to do back in the weird question, we want 3 divided by 8. But there's a problem. In the whole numbers, 3 divided by 8 is an incredibly boring division problem. If I just take my 3 cakes and I try to give 1 to each person, I'm not going to have enough for everybody. And I'm going to have 3 cakes left over. Right, that's not what we want. Okay, so what am I going to do? And I think you already know what my solution's going to be, right? I'm going to cut my cakes up. And maybe there's a really clever way I can do this, but I know that this is going to work. I cut each cake into 8 equally sized pieces, and then I give everyone 3 pieces like that. Right, so that's my solution in the real world. How do I describe that solution mathematically? Well, I say that 3 divided by 8 is equal to the fraction 3/8. So let's take a look at this fraction. Let's make it a little bigger. Notice that there are kind of 3 parts to this fraction. The horizontal line here, this is called a fraction bar. The number 3 in this fraction is called the numerator. And the numerator enumerates. It says how many. In particular, how many pieces will we take? The 8 in this fraction is called the denominator. The numerator tells us how many, the denominator names. It tells us what kind of pieces we're talking about. So this says, how many pieces is each whole thing, each unit? How many pieces is it cut up into? So in my example, my unit was a cake. I cut each cake into 8 equal pieces. So my denominator was 8 because each cake was cut into 8 pieces. And then I gave everyone 3 pieces like that. How many pieces did they get? They got 3 of them. Now, there's nothing magic about 3 and 8 in this story, which tells us something really important. What does it tell us? It tells us that we can answer any division problem with a fraction. If I have 97 divided by 41, I can answer that as 97 41sts. Is that necessarily the nicest way to express that answer? Not necessarily, but maybe I don't need to express my answer in a nice way. Maybe 97 41sts is good enough. Even ordinary division problems. 32 divided by 4. We can answer that as 32 fourths. Notice we can also answer this as the whole number 8, which is going to suggest something a little bit later. But 32 fourths is a perfectly good answer if someone asks you, what is 32 divided by 4? And they aren't more specific about how they want the answer.